We are live. We are live. Load shedding, load shedding, load shedding in South Africa. It is something else. It is something else, tribe. And I'm actually trying to do full screen here. So just give me a minute where I can actually just full screen. And oh, I see. Let me move this here. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I hope that tribe members, please let me know you here. It's load shedding, tribe. It's load shedding. For those who are not in South Africa, we are on stage 5 load shedding. So, I had to wait for the electricity to kick in and come back. Um Let me know, tribe, how does this is a visual background, basically. I just put a picture up, so you don't have to see. How does it look on your screen? Is it looking all right? Is it coming all right? Are you winning with me? So yeah, so we both live on YouTube and on Facebook. I wonder if my Facebook tribe is here. I know people were wondering if I'm gonna be live or not. We know with load shedding. I'm saying load scheduling, but load shedding. Yes, Tabile is here. Thank you, Kumalo Mdungambulas. My mother-in-law, Makumalo. So thank you so much. Yes, Colisa is also checking in from Facebook. Can you see it in America? Oh, can you see it in America? Good to see you, Zaza. Good evening, Alexi, Coco, Aubrey McDonald's. Let me know where you guys are at. Official is coming from the UK. Lorna and Awuwe Coco. Osipho, Mamuketi, Nkomonde, Noctula. Facebook is showing up. Evening, evening, evening. So we are actually doing a general Q&A. And the reason I'm doing that is mostly for my Facebook tribe, because Facebook has been missing out. But when we come into topics, they always throw in this general Q&As. So I thought, let's do a general Q&A. Tribe members, let me know, how does this background look? Is it working for you? If it's not working, I might need to remove it. I'm just testing, trying new things here. Welcome, Andile from Zimbabwe, my mother's motherland. Yes, I am a descendant of the Karanga people in Zim, and we are Karanga, but we became Kalanga because when Zelegazi came to Wandebele, we lost the RNI dialect, so we became Kalanga, but originally we are Karanga. So that's why I call myself a Karanga queen, because ke stolo sa Ramalebe, ke Chochonono, ke Kulube, ke mo Shakabula, ke mo Jebele, ke mo Karanga, ke mo Kilokela. So Coco Dineo is one of my names, but my maiden name is Ramalebe Viaje, and then Gabangwechi Kwandanzi, and then Kwandanzi. That's why I'm Coco Dineo Ndanzi. It is my merit surname. Yes, Mukalanga Wakwaegi Yolona from Makado Venda. Chokoza Koko Mdwana Unedlozi. We are Linda. Yes, thank you so much, tribe. Thank you for the love, load shedding. And I know that most of us around this time, we are off the load shedding grid. Some people are still load shedding, but we're going to save this video. Remember to like it, subscribe, put the notification button on so that you do not miss out. I told you, when you have your notification button on, you are not going to miss out this live. Immediately when I get live, and your phone is on, you will get a notification that Gokodino and Tanzi is live. Better tune in. Do not want to miss out on our weekly dose of education, of inspiration, of enlightenment, of motivation, of really moving us from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness, because we are all about ascending to our highest form of consciousness, where we are one with Creator and one with our ancestors, so we can then be able to create a better and greater life for ourselves. Mulalo is from Cape Town tribe. Please give me feedback. Is this background, are you cool with this background? You are seeing one of my logos. In the back, it's a visual background. I'm testing, trying new things here until we get a solid thing. So please let me know. Give me feedback if it is a little bit too much. You can see me well, you can hear me well. Give me that kind of feedback, then I can return to the normal way you'll see my bookshelf. Bulela, before we get to your questions, before I start to speak, I need some feedback. Are we good? Are we seeing each other? Are we hearing each other? Is the background working? Then give me a green thumbs up. Once you do, I will start taking your questions. Last week, we tried something with the tribe. People made some donations or bought stickers. What it does is that when you make a donation, your question goes up to the top. So when your question goes up to the top, you get priority. So I'm going to actually send a tribe leader because I know my tribe, my core 10 tribe members, actually now we've got a new tribe member. The 11 tribe member, is new, made a donation and was working. So I need to say I'm on live now. People were asking if everything was working. Load shedding. Please ask the tribe to join because I need to test things. Yes. The sound is good. Everybody's happy. Okay. It says I'm on Facebook and it's got subtitles. Oh wow, that's it, right? That's brilliant. So working background is it's lit, everybody's good, perfectly fine. Awesome. So I was saying last week we tested something. All of I got surprised by our new tribe member, well, a new core tribe member who made a donation, and a few people made a donation to this work because it's just like giving gratitude back. It's like ukhanyisele umsebenzi, ukhanyisela umlomo, ukhanyisela amazwi empilo aphilisayo, avuselelayo, asikhuthazayo. And what I notice is when you buy stickers, but this is only an option that is available on YouTube, your question will come up on top, your comments. So because there's a lot of comments that go on, because there's a lot of people, I mean, we've been here for less than 7 minutes. We're already sitting in at 206. It goes up to 500, 800. So then when you're asking me a question, I miss it amongst many other questions. So if you want to make sure that you do get my attention and that you do, somewhere in them you will get somewhere where it's asking, do you want to buy a sticker? You get priority comment. So it's kind of like priority boarding. Basically the session is for free, but you make a donation to make sure that your question is gotten. So not that you want, but some people I might miss. So when you are buying a sticker, it gives priority to your question. Awesome. So let is I want to address this. Help me find a good husband. That's not my job. I don't help people find good husbands. I don't make people make money. I don't bring back lost lovers. I don't enlarge people's privates. I do not give you lottery numbers. I am not like that. I am a healer, and you gotta work on yourself, Castro, to find a good husband, because we are looking for somebody to be good for us, but we're not willing to be good for ourselves. And when we are not good to ourselves, when we're not better, we can attract better. We are attracting that which reflects back aspects of ourselves. So if you want a really good husband, start working at being a good wife, a good woman to yourself. Start loving yourself, start showing yourself kindness, because when you do that, you raise your vibration, and when your vibration is raising higher, you attract better. Period. Because if you are not being a good person to yourself, even if when you attract a good husband, you're not going to see them, because you don't see value in yourself. You don't see worthiness in yourself. And I think also, one of the false programmings women has had is always chasing. We have been programmed to chase for the man, and men have been programmed to chase for the bag, and now we chase the man with the bag. And even if it is very painful, it is very uncomfortable, it is abusive, it's a relationship you don't want to be in, what you do is you stay because you found a husband with a bag. Chase yourself, do good to yourself, get yourself into a point where you love yourself enough. When something unloving, unkind, disturbing, turbulent comes into your space, you have no tolerance for it. It will cease to exist. It won't even last for 5 minutes, because you'll be radiating at such high vibrational frequency. You'll be oozing light, you'll be oozing power, you'll be oozing greatness. Nothing less than greatness will come close to you. It starts with you. When you are wanting to attract a great relationship, you become a great person. We are seeking in others that which is within us. Once you give it upon yourself, and once you start to gift into your own cup, you start to find complementary things that are going to complement, and actually they are magnifying and illuminating the light that you already are. They are not giving you. Nobody can give you what you don't have. You can only give it to yourself. You attract better as you become better. So can we start to rewire, reprogram, and learn to be chasing things outside of ourselves, and actually chase to be clear within ourselves, to be good in us, to be better in us? Because once we do that, our aura vibrates so high that anything less than of that energy vibration is going to come closer to us. Tell me, I know. I was married to Mkulu. I always say this for the longest of time. We broke up, separated. The truth be told, I separated from him. I did. I moved. Yes, we mutually got into an agreement, because this is what he said. And this is the power of when somebody truly loves you. He said to me, if you're going to be happy, Dineo, and not being with me is what makes you at your happiest, I love you enough to allow you to be happy without me. And he allowed me to go. And I walked away. And for 3 years, I found myself, because I was looking. That which I was looking was actually what I needed to give to me. Nobody else could have given me what I was looking for. I needed to find and love myself and fulfill myself and find contentment, so I can see the value he brought into my life. I didn't see his greatness because I didn't know mine. His greatness was boring because I felt I was boring. See, making sense there. Awesome. So let's hear Togoza Koko. I'm humbly asking you that, do you do a teaching on Malopo spirit, as this is one of the spirit rarely spoken about by healers? Thank you. Noted. I am still yet to initiate Kosilopo. When it comes to these kind of ancestral spirits, what I can tell you about Malopo, it's the same way as Itonga Limhlopa, it's the same way as Amakosi, aka Twasa Isizulu. These are related to your bloodline. You cannot Twasa Isilopo if you don't have the bloodline Yabapedi. You can't Twasa Isxhosa if you don't have the bloodline Yesixhosa. You can't Twasa Isizulu if you do not have the bloodline Yesizulu. You can't initiate Isisuthu if you do not have Umsuthu, a bloodline. There has to be a bloodline, because from my experience of Twasa Isxhosa, those type of initiation processes, actually it's about the restoration of cultural practices that have been lost over time due to, I always say, due to, historical injustices such as colonization, where Africans were moved from their true identity and they needed to adopt other cultures. Anything else was greater except themselves. So these type of initiation processes, they restore things back into order. They give us certain codes of operations as families. So when you are a chosen healer who has to initiate within your bloodline, Ispedi, Xhosa, Umsutu, Zulu, it's actually, you'll be taught. I learned a lot about what really goes down when we perform Xhosa ritual. Mokwenziwa imicimbi esiXhoseni, there is a lot that goes into it. There is a rigidity, there is a diligence, there is a presence, there is an attentiveness that goes into that. So I cannot speak in detail and in length about Isilopo because I have not initiated. I will be misleading you and I will be misguiding you. But what I know for sure from somebody who was Singuni Sindaus prophet and then went and did Isxhosa, Nzunza. Well, actually, that was not in Zunza, it gets activated, right? Zunza is about higher, raising your level of consciousness. It's seeing bigger than the fifth. So to get to Nzonza, you also gotta do a lot of work, because people who have Nzonza spirit are the ones who are not only seers of this timeline, but they're able to see future timelines, but they also are able to access information and intel beyond the earth realm, beyond just this planet, but they go into other solars and other cosmos. So it takes time. That's why it takes about 10 years for your Nzonza spirit to mature, but you need to kind of set the right kind of foundation. You cannot go to Nzonza if you have not done your basics and your fundamentals, your basic initiation processes. You're required to do your basic initiation processes before you can say, Guti, I am awakening and my Nzonza spirit is activated. Nzonza is about higher levels of consciousness. Being a healer is about raising your level of consciousness from seeing things as black or white, but actually understanding that things happen in polarities, from seeing the multidimensional reality of things and the interconnectedness of things. When you become a healer, you stop separating things. You start to understand that the cause of a headache might be biological, but it might be psychological, and it might be spiritual as well. You start to see end and end and end. You start to see the bigger picture. You start to have an aerial view, because you understand that the human system is complex and everything in it is interconnected. So when you are fixing this part, it impacts this part. And once it impacts this part, how are you going to then, navigate the other part? You don't work at separating, but you are working at actually continuously bringing things into alignment. Hence, when you go through initiation, some people struggle to complete their initiation for a various of reasons, but those who feel like it's hard, it's too much, I can't, this is impossible, it's demanding, it's crazy, it's expensive. When there's a lot that you are complaining about, there's no way you will elevate. There's no way you're gonna get to fifth dimension. It's mostly people who have a victim ego pathology who find it hard to go through initiation, because initiation is about birthing your new level of consciousness. It's taking you from one state to the next step. It's the same thing as when you're saying somebody is wanting to lose weight or become fit. When you want to have chiseled abs, you raise the bar. You take it slightly higher. Your diet is much more stricter, because as we know that actually abs are chiseled in the kitchen, not so much at putting the gym work. But if it's here, and if your state of mind is like, oh, I will never get six packs because I've never really, then you can't get there, because you will lack the discipline of having you lack the discipline of sticking to a diet that's going to make sure that your abs are chiseled. So I'm using that analogy for ipehlo nalo linjalo. If you lack the discipline to do the rituals as required, to follow through the process and the demands of the process, you can't elevate to fifth dimension. You can't elevate to that. That's why people quit, because the heat gets turned up. The higher you go, the harder it becomes. So can you imagine, then you want to go to ninth, which is in Zonza, but fifth has been difficult. I hope you are following me. I hope this is making sense and this is useful. So let's go to Sipati Togoza Koko. What does it mean to dream of yourself swimming in a swimming pool? Sipati, I don't do dreams on text. I need to hear your voice. I need more context. Beloved tribe members, we're trying something out. I'm on Kaya FM every morning. At this moment, it's about 15 minutes every morning on Dineo, Ranaka, and Sol Penduga, and 95.9 breakfast. So you can give me a ring there. We're trying it out. Maybe we're gonna move it to twice a week, or I don't know. We're still trying it out. But for now, tomorrow I'll be there. It's Friday, and then I'll get feedback from the team, and then we'll see, because we are thinking of probably extending it rather than doing this 15 minutes daily things. So this is where you can have an opportunity, or for you to call, because I need to ask a couple of questions about the swimming pool you were swimming in before I can interpret it. So text becomes quite difficult. Your voice gives me a sense, and I'm able to connect to you when you are telling me, because you're asking me to interpret your dream, you're asking me to consult. And in order for me to consult, I might not need to see you, but there's something about hearing you That's quite helpful. That's why I warn my Facebook tribe followers, I will never consult you via texting. I don't do that. It has to be like this, because that's why even when I can teach and I can write powerful messages, but most of my impactful teachings are through this platform. Because when I'm speaking and I'm engaging and I'm interacting, energy flows. And where energy flows, energy goes. And where energy goes, transformation happens. Togoza Koko, what are your thoughts on one trying to open their third eye? Could you please speak of the pros and cons and whether it's even necessary? This is a good question, Sia. Let me tell you this. A lot of people, again, there's a lot of false like teachings when it comes to consciousness, awakening, African spirituality. In every field, we do have false teachings, right? False teachings, the difference between false and dark. And I think was it on the show on KFM when I explained this. um yeah, but I did this teaching. So false is misleading. So false is basically saying that all you need to do is open your third eye and then you'll connect to your ancestors, right? All you need to do about this problem, Koko, partly false teachings is like toss Koko, so your things can be brought back into order. No, just pray about it. You're having problems with your partner, just pray about it, Koko. It's gonna That's a false teachings. It's kind of like false teachings are led by desire. um and our own individual desires are not always about the collective. Then there's dark, right? When there is dark, and darkness is when we are now tampering with people's worlds. Darkness is when we actually are tampering with livelihoods. Darkness is witchcraft. So darkness is when I'm intentionally sending you harm because you've done me wrong. It's when I'm intentionally becoming destructive because I feel like I need to do so I can recorrect you. So darkness is when I work away, work not walk, work away from the core principle of consent. Darkness is when I tamper with your sovereignty, meaning your free will, your freedom as a human. All of us, when we incarnated and became the flesh, one thing, we came back as souls from the higher realms. When we ascended, descended, because ascension is going, when we descended and incarnated and took a physical form, we were gifted with the gift of free will. We were gifted with sovereignty. Nothing gets done without our consent. When people do things out of consent, that's when they start to temper. And by tempering with the temple of God, that's dark energy. Tempering with the temple of God, that's tempering with the temple of God. But when I'm saying to you, Coco, no, it's fine, you can bath and you can do this, and surely your husband will come back, that is false. Because what I'm assuming is that you've got power over somebody else's free will. What you do will influence somebody else. Nobody, you can influence, but nobody change because you want them to change. They change because they feel they need to change. So ukugeza kwakho is not going to stop your muntu from bana nepentshisi linawa. Ukugeza kwakho kwenza wena ukhanye, wena ugqame, wena ubukeke, wena uthandeke, but it's not going to change somebody else. Changing somebody else forcefully, that's darkness, because you are actually distorting their organic DNA. Do you understand what you are playing God in somebody else's life? Hence, that is witchcraft. So when meetings or whens are so, because when you did this to me, when you stole from me, when you stole this, no, and it's different from protecting yourself and from releasing dark energy and sending it where it belongs. That's a different one. But when ngithatha isithombe sakho ngithi wena Dinewo wakasibanibani ukhuluma too much, you are always on radio, who the hell do you think you are, taking space, occupy? That is darkness. That is evil, and evil ubthakathi. That is tempering with the temple of God, because this which you see as a physical being, I am an extension and an expansion of Creator. So the minute you attack Dineo and you are destroying this temple, whom Their spirit is one with creator. Do you understand how big it is? That's why Butagat is so crude. And that's why you have to be careful, because abanye abantu, guys, abanye abantu bahamba nabanye abantu. Mina laba ngihamba nabo bathanda ukuthi mebathi udine uyabathakatha. Ubowuthakathe ini, uthake ini, uthe moyithumela yakuhlula. Bese-ke mese ukushaya into zakho zokushaya induku, wena uhambe wasihlanganisa emsamo wakho uthi ushaya omunye umntwana, mese zibuya zishaya wena, bese uthi loyo uyathakatha. Ngatshelwa mina ngingakathwasi. This I was told before I even knew what I know now about idlozi. Ngingakathwasa ngatshela ugogo athi ngane yami, wena basayokubiza ngomthakathi, basayokubiza ukuthi uthwele. Ngoba yini? Ngoba labantu ohamba nawo ngane yami, mebantu beqala bathi bakwenza okuthize, kuvuka bona baba yisiviko sakho, baba umvimbo wakho. Manje-ke ungahambi umangala, kodwa because Dineo is human. When people start to say things, kuyazwela enyameni, your heart breaks, your heart bleeds, and you're like, oh my God, why would people say that? Ngikhohlwa ukuthi ngatshelwa in 2008 or 2007, no, 8, just after I got married, or early 2009, by ugogo Fosloras, when I was starting to get sick, and when he told me about abantu engihamba nabo. So mina, I say this, angimsaba umthakathi, ngisaba imimoya engayiboni, hayi umoya womthakathi. Umoya womthakathi is somebody basically trying to act all powerful and superhuman in destroying somebody else's life. If you are that powerful, that gifted, extremely, you can actually be redirecting that energy to make sure that you are creating riches for yourself, you're creating magnificence and excellence, and you that energy will be redirected to you. So if you are that powerful, so that's why I'm saying, Guti abathakathi, they instill fear. And they work with our psychology because they know Guti, our mind is an architecture. It creates, it designs. So they work with that. Hence, they instill fear and all of those things. Plus, we carry traumas of we are very not worthy from all those, colonial systems, from apartheid, where we were sitting at the bottom of the pyramid. So you can understand that we already have inherited generational traumas. Then you have witches to topple with it. So what does that do? When umthakathi starts to tell you, you don't realize that you are getting those attacks because you're a somebody. And I'm not talking about people I'm talking about genuine attacks where because why is everybody bothered by Kokotino? Because she's a somebody. When you're a nobody, when you talk about yourself, nobody listens. You gotta talk about other people. You gotta talk about this and you gotta talk about that. And understand lento chomelana as ukuthi mina ngisikoko. Bone asbone isikoko when some power speaks for itself, it doesn't need to be spoken for. Note that power speaks for itself. It does not need to be spoken of. You do not hear inkosi mayifika endaweni uthi hey inkosi mina kubani bani. Inkosi mengena enkundleni kuyazwakala ukuthi sekungena umuntu omdala. It speaks for itself. You don't need to tell us. You don't need to share with the world. Are we still good on? I'm seeing that my network is dropping a little bit. Don't know what's going on up here, but we're still good. So I hope I even answered the ones who were worried about the witches, right? Because in Sangoma, guys, I'm like that. Even when I do a radio show, before you ask me your questions, 5 of them are answered in a paragraph. That's how it works. Was asking, speaking of tampering with the God's temple, I want to know, how is it that Sangomas can heal and bewitch at the same time? Why is that the powers given to them can function in darkness and light? Well, the thing is, that's the assumption. The minute somebody moves to the dark side, they might still call themselves Isangoma, and we give them the titles. We need to stop giving people who have owned their dark side as light workers. To be a Sangoma, Umelapi is a light bringer. It's a life restorer. So if we are saying they are light givers, what is it? Because the minute you enter into the dark, right? And that's why they will get so hungry to say more and more and more and do the most extreme of darkness. I mean, look at what's happening on social medias. We see when people are in the pits of the darkness, it gets worse and worse and worse because their life force has depleted, meaning their God's energy, their light energy is now being depleted. So they're only working with those energy forces, vampire energy forces, says siphoning, because not all ancestors are in the light, you all. That's why mesiphatla sithi sibiza idlozi elihle elikhanyayo eliphilisayo. Re bitsa badimo ba lesedi. That's why re kganya lesedi when we are speaking to ancestors. Please, tribe, remember to definitely like this, comment, subscribe, put on your notification button so they cannot heal and kill. It's an illusion. The more you stay in the dark, and you know, energies like that, it depletes over time, right? They will, that's why over time, but you all umuntu bantu bekasebenza kanjani. And then what's going on? Because once you step into darkness, your light, the ones who are in the light do caution you. Liyafika idlozi lokuxwayisa ukuthi wegogo, uyabona ke manje ukuthi usuwenza njani, because usuvulela abamnyama isango. Then it's up to you, because our ego, right? And our need to be relevant and our need to remain in power and this and that and that. And that is actually, and we see that. And that's why they say beta people do not be beta back, you know, head people, because you can really clearly see, good, you must be deeply wounded if all you find is power over overpowering others. You must be deeply broken to go to the most of extremes to break other people so you can feel better about yourself. Because when somebody breaks you, you create a boundary. You go like, you don't do that to me. Cut your ties. You rebuild yourself. Protect your energy space so you don't attract that same. So when are you going to have to do that to everyone who breaks you? Means, Guti, who's the common denominator here? Something as the common denominator is quite worrisome. Something about the common denominator, it's very problematic, and that's what we should start to look at. But the more you are in the dark, the lower you vibrate. The lower you vibrate, there won't be any light emitting from your work. So all you'll be working with is the dark side. I hope I answered your question. Please just give me a thumbs up to say yes, Coco, you've answered it. Let me tell you as well, tribe members, is that we have become a people that feeds off negativity. You know, we get so excited by this darkness, not only, you know, from healers, but everywhere. You see how negative things trend so quickly and so fast. Have you seen on Twitter, congratulations, X and X? They don't have a long lifespan. But man must fall, those things have a really long lifespan. We have actually, this is an inherited generational trauma of dragging and pulling each other down. Somebody used an analogy about, you know, how black people are like crabs in a jar, where when the other one is trying to climb out of the jar, the rest are pulling them down. We need to heal that trauma. We need, because it is a distorted belief system that it's a false belief system about ourselves. It's inorganic for us to believe that we are less than greatness, and every time somebody tries to climb higher, then we pull them down. And we're not talking about climbing higher inorganically. Ngoba wena uthwele, ngoba wena ushaya abantu ngechitho. That is not climbing higher. That's not there's nothing climbing higher about destroying other people. There's nothing climbing higher about killing other people. It's actually even lower of the lowest, because the more you do lower things, the more you deplete your soul. The people who do the most evil and extremist of things is because they have no soul. That's why they're called demons, because demons don't have souls. Because when you have a soul, you've got a conscious. When you've got a conscious, unonembeza, before you take something, you go like, oh my God, ushauval. The minute you don't have uvalo, because all you care about is revenge, all you care about is making them to be aware that they should know who you are, they should know your name. It's about your ego, because your ego got bruised. We all find ourselves in places and spaces where we don't get the best of feedback. especially if you're a public figure. You can imagine for them what it's like, because they always are under public scrutiny, as if the lives they are living on TV needs to translate to their day to day, forgetting that they actually are doing, they're in a job, they're playing a role, is not truly who they are. I did a thing with Unziki, right? A podcast, and I realized, like, oh my god, see my nail, look at my nail, it broke. I'm getting them done. I haven't had time. I've been having him get in, but I was like conscious, even when I go to the public. Like sometimes when people go, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in my PJs, guys. I'm in my PJs, because there's so much pressure to be Kokodinawa everywhere, and sometimes I'm Dinawa, sometimes I'm Maria, nginar man, yazini, ngiphethe into zami. Don't want to take pictures. I don't want to do that. So you need to understand, Uguti, no one is immune to human challenges. No one is immune to bad financial management. No one is immune. I wasn't immune. I've said a lot of times that I messed up in my relationship. I had an affair in my marriage. I messed up in my work as a healer. That's where I just, like, instead of listening with spirit, I listened with my heart. What, not my heart, with my emotions, basically. So that's that. And I wanted to go back. I think I got excited by Mpo's question. Somebody said, is it advice to follow, open my third eye? Like, why do you want your third eye? Is because it's your root, is your sacral, is your solar, is your heart, then it's your third eye. Can you see? How do you open your all seeing eye if your root chakra is misaligned? Your root chakra is the everything that connects you to your history, your sense of security. Ubani uzala abobani. Awazi nokuthi, awazi nokuphahla. You don't know the basic. Your root is not grounded. Your root is unstable. Your root is not strengthened, but you want to work all the way to the eye. How do you get to the eye? You want to say, let me unblock my third eye because I need to see all the things. But you're harboring hate. But you are harboring resentment. You are harboring unforgiveness. That's why people who practice evil do not need to consult and go into the spirit world to access info. They just want tell when angel uban kamala some sort of out, because they're not in the business of asking, inviting, consulting, consenting with spirit. They're not. They are not working with organic natural laws here and principles of nature. They're working against them. That's why it's like, come now, I will be able to sort you out. Let's just try bring their t-shirt, I will deal with them. Bring their undergarments, I will deal with them, because they are working against the organic laws of nature. So they are not healers, because inorganic forces destroy natural orders. Hey, DJ Spoo, you here with us? Great to see you. Norma Kwezi, it's deep, guys. Right? Today's life is on some other level. We are just on another level. This load shedding gave us the buzz. Remember, guys, please like this, share it, subscribe, put the notification button on, and so you don't miss this ever. Every Thursday we here doing these teachings. Today we are focusing on general Q&As on spirituality, so that we do not have people asking us these general questions when we do specific topics. Hey, Sim is here. Engo, Sisana, I'm so glad that you finally caught me. So let's go to Z. Togoza Koko, does one manage understand their dreams besides having a dream journal if they have not yet consulted about their dream? Yes, some people are really gifted in interpreting your dreams. Maybe the next thing I will do, one of the list I'm gonna do about dreams, start how to start to understand your dreams. Just have a basic understanding of how to decipher and start to do that, understand the dreams, so that you don't always feel like you need to consult for your dreams, but get a sense of what your dreams, what could they possibly mean. All right, I will do that. That will be on my to-do list of teachings. It doesn't mean that you still don't have to consult. And what you're only going to ask me here is about, how do I do it? If I'm not dreaming, what should I do? It's not going to be like, oh, what if I dream about that? No, I'm not going to be interpreting dreams. If we're going to do a where people want to interpret dreams, maybe I'll do like a 200 rand per session where people get links and they come and it's about 10 people and I sit with them and we do, right? How about that one? Like you come and you do pay, because if you don't want to come to Cosmo and Dumbeni, because I think it's about 650 for an hour dream interpretation session with me. So you can yeah, you can book with the institute and ask for your dreams to be interpreted. We can, it's mostly telephonic. We're going to be on the phone, or it's not face to face. No, it's not face to face. You don't come. It'll be, you'll see me, or you can send me your voice notes, and however way it works, except that it's not, because it is not a consultation, it's a dream interpretation session, even though we do tap into the spirit, because we need to understand beyond the obvious. Awesome. Let's go to Sima is asking, Towaza Koko, multiple people have randomly told me I am spiritually gifted since I was a child. How do I find out how true this is? Please look at my video. It's here on YouTube. Signs that tell that you are gifted, dreams that can tell that you're gifted. Look at that. And if you are checking out most of those signs, you can go to a healer, to Isangoma, to confirm if that is true. Neo has donated. Great, Neo. Now here's your question. You see what it means? Look at that. Neo has donated, so her question has went all the way up. Everybody else went down. Thank you for the donation, Neo. We appreciate it. It says, I'm glad you touched on the root chakra. How does one start to align in our traditional ways? That one of the most important things that we have in aligning our root chakras as Africans is a ritual called Imbelego. Imbelego, it's a ritual that really grounds us and roots us in our ancestral bloodline. You do imbelego in some tradition, in depending Guti Ganjan. Some people, when a child is born out of wedlock in Guni culture, you can have both from your maternal and your paternal side, right? In the Basutu cultures, when you are out of wedlock, either you will have so when you are born out of wedlock, what needs to happen in order for your father to root you in the bloodline, they will need to come and acknowledge paternity, that which we call intlawulo, not damages. Damages is negative because it leaves an impression that a child is damaged or there's something wrong with it. We need to do away with that word. We need to call it acknowledgement of paternity, because this is where the father says, I know that we were not in a formal relationship, formal meaning a marriage union, but I'm doing this because I want to formally acknowledge that I am the father of this child. So you do intlawulo. So when a father has done intlawulo, then there are then they actually are given basically, I don't want to say rights, because they have a right, whether they've done, they do have a right, they are their father. But doing that, it means they then can have access to doing things spiritually for that child. So that child is now acknowledged by the paternal side. So if that ritual is not done, uba umntwana kamalume. So everything that is done, it's done on the maternal side of the family. Makes sense. Yet there are other kids like Usiabonga. Usiabonga is actually umntwana wasekhaya, is from my mother's side of the family, because how he got conceived and also what happened when I was pregnant with him, because I was like, guys, I'm like, how am I pregnant? Like, I'm in my 30s and I'm not planning for a child. And they were like, this child is not going anywhere. This child is a gift, and also see and look where he comes from. And he came right underwater. So I knew Gucci is Karanga, And when we did Imsebenzi, we had to do what, there was from my mother's side, there was a goat. From his dad's side, no, my mother, people, so we did a sheep and then there was a goat. But he does things from both ends, So sometimes he does well, it does ngapa and ngapa. So it's not standard, right? It's not standard. Hence, I say it differs. And it also differs with the kind of child, because we know we're giving birth to extremely brilliant children. We're giving birth to children who are actually forcing us to transition and move away from old systems of thinking. So you see, thank you, Neva, for that 140. Did you see how it works on YouTube? This is what happens, is that when you make a donation, it pushes up your question up to the top. So you definitely I gotta see it. Another thing I gotta give you with your 140 now. The other thing in which we can root ourselves in align our root chakras, the African way. When umntwana azalwa, each family must have isiko lokuthi what do they do ngenkaba yakhe. So different families do things. Some people plant, they would plant a tree with it. Some people will take it to the water, depending. There has to be a ritual because that ritual is also important. And there are also many, many other rituals. I know when Sbusiso was born as my first child, my mother was like, darling, Zulu, and we understand Guti. In Zulu culture, there's a lot of rituals. Please honor them and respect them because I just came back from religion, so I was like transitioning into African spirituality, and my mother knows that. Please, Nana, please just respect. And I know at 2 weeks old, we needed to take Busiso home to his father's side, and there was a ritual done. Ngenkaba yakhe, and by the time he was 8 months, his eyes got red and they were watery. And we took him to his pediatrician, and the pediatrician told us the story singahlangani. I wasn't a sangoma at the time. My dad said, "Hey, asimise mntwini," and we took him to a sangoma, and what lo mntwana ukhalela isiko. Even though there was also wakishwa inyoni. You see how many rituals are there, but what ukhalela isiko samenzela. And we did Imbeleko. The week we were already preparing for Imbeleko, his eyes started to clear because they were just tearing and they would be red. And he wouldn't scratch them, they were not itchy. It's just that it looked strange. And on the day his goat ifika ayenzelwa ihlatshwa imbuzi yakhe, the next day tears gone, red eyes gone. That's it. His eyes were sorted out. The pediatrician told us some big fancy medical term about what's going on, but we could see that it looked uncomfortable for us for as his parents, because we kind of thought maybe he's going through some pain and he's a child, he does not know how to articulate it. But that was basically imbelego that made. And I have one thing I have also noticed is that abanye abantwana babhizi la, babhema amanyawupe, bangena emajele, bayenza izinto because there's a misalignment with their root. Abanye badinga impepho, badinga ukushisela impepho ekhaya, omunye udingela ukuhlatshelwa isilwane sakubo. Hey, these things are very important. They are very important. They are so important. I cannot overemphasize. I have lived experience. I'm a living testimony. My life was south, west, east. No matter how hard I pulled it and pushed it together, I was 24 years. Because I think it was 24 when I conceived Busiso, and they said to me, because yeah, unfortunately, I lost my twins, and they said do imbeleko. I did it, and mengiqeda ukwenza imbeleko, the first thing is no, I conceived, I think, or before, yeah, but there was a baby. And yeah, ubaba uNdlanzi wathi thina asihlawuli siyashada, so I'm marrying you. Then I started to find a stable job. So it does ground you. It creates a deeper, stronger root. I say a people who are deeply connected and rooted to their ancestors, they have a greater ability to thrive. They are like a tree deeply rooted to the ground with an ability to bear fruit. So now you know how important those, root chakra rituals are for us as Africans. Sibat is asking, Togoza Koko, is it true that ancestors can fight over a person because of them not using the right surname? Please touch on the importance of the surname of spiritually gifted people. Okay, so basically, remember all of these things also, because surnames are also about, alignment here and rooting you and grounding you. Because when we call your surname, we are calling forward a lineage that existed before you. We are calling an army of your ancestors to come to the forefront and support you on this gift that you come with, this gift that you are born with. So if you are using an incorrect surname, so who are we calling? Then it becomes misaligned and it looks like we go kuba mixed masala. So that's why it is important to know ukuthi kanjani. And yet, no, let's leave this for premium contributors. Next time I'll expand Guti. Then what can you do if that's a problem? Let's leave it at there. Yes. So I think I've explained it to you. So as a gifted person, then it becomes, then you don't, which source of support, strength, guidance, navigation are you gonna be pulling on? Are you feeling me here? Are we together? Are we enjoying this teaching? I'm enjoying myself. Okay, Nontan is asking, how do I deal with Izita's Zami Msamo? I've had dreams indicative of foul play. I don't know which steps myself and guys need to take when partnering about them. Uh why would you want to deal with Izita Msamo? Like, that scares me sometimes, because I remember when people say I deal with people at my Msamo. That scares me, guys, Like, that really scares me. So I don't even know, Nontanta, that, yeah, that there's something there that feels uncomfortable for me to speak about. So, because I don't know what you're talking about really and what you mean by is it. I don't have context, because I'll be really misguiding you and misleading you here. But I just say, like, Umsamu is a sacred place. We don't just bring everything and anything there because we are feeling, we have, yeah, people have been unjust to us. We need to respect that place. Nomakwezi, can you explain the Roshalia is connected to the Tao spirit? Nomakwezi, that's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna speak about why is it important and all of that. We will find out when you go to initiation. Ukuthi kungani. Okay, so Benny, thank you giving us feedback here. Uh, so let's go to Daniel Togoza Koko. Does being named after your grandparent? Okay, now the question doesn't continue. Uh, No, Mpombela says, I heard that most spiritually gifted females conceived Amawele, Amakosi, okay, conceived twins, and you're spiritually gifted. Interesting. Okay. Interesting indeed. I didn't know that there was a connection between twins and Umkosi, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so this is what happens, because Umpo was at the, and then it jumped because other people started coming in. Okay. See, that's what happens. So your questions go like boo boo boo, and they go up very quickly and very fast. And then Togoza Koko, what makes one to be obsessed with ancestors and ancestral things, yet they're not gifted? Well, the thing is an assumption that people think that ancestors and ancestors things are only for the spiritually gifted. Like, it's not like that. It is really not like that. Kaufela re na le badimo, sonke sinabantu abadala, sama nabantu abadala. So ukushisa impepho, ukwenza izinto, nokufaka amahiya, not all clothes are for the gifted. Some of them are connected to us. They're connected to our people. They're connected to certain things. Kunamabhayi aseswatini nasebukhosini. Kunamabhayi that are only abhengcwa abantu abathize. So it's not like everyone, when they say you are obsessed with, you are African. So you're African, you work with your ancestors, you are obsessed with them because they're part of your bloodline. So yeah, thank you, Kutata, for the donation. Appreciate it. um there you go. Your question came right on top, right? Everybody's question disappeared. Let's go. Coco, please explain how cost salt works for cleansing. Do we pray for it? Bese sigeza ngabo. Well, because cost salt is a purifier, a detox, and a cleanser. So it really works well. So as a like quick remedy for something, not to solve the root cause of the problem, but just basically to ease the symptoms of a problem. Because when the root cause of the problems are much more complex, cost salt is not gonna solve your problem long term. Please note that. uh, uh, Kutanzo, am I saying it right? Kutanzo, your let me show, because let me put this. I need to show your question here. Yes. So what you do is that when you are struggling to sleep and you feel like there's, forces or energy spirits in the house that are quite unsettling, what needs to happen is that you need to be able to, you can sprinkle with it, mix it with water and clear the space, or just sprinkle it as it is, even on top of your roof. I grew up my grandfather doing that. it's a repellent of dark energies and spirit. And you can also cleanse with it. You can also purge with it to detox your system. But be careful if you've got hypertension, because it's sodium, and we know that high levels of sodium are connected to hypertension. So please, let be careful. But it's good to put, it's a detox, it's a purifier. Even when you're tired, just run a cold salt bath. It will help you relax. It will help you, it will help you sleep better. And when you sleep better, you have higher and greater chances of recalling your dreams, which is very important. Benny saying, Gogo, is it possible that you can put your content on national TV? Uh, oh, I missed you. Yeah, you reality show. Living with Coco Dineo. Well, not a reality TV, but to do something like this, definitely. But, is mainstream media ready for content? Because, they sometimes get, yeah, I think we've given so much airtime to making mockery of our practice that that's what we see, and we call it content. But content, it as about bringing us to a place of contentment and fulfillment, because our cups have been filled. But when we're making drama, I don't know, because it actually just puts more stress on our stress responses. Drama does that because it gets your adrenaline going, so your flight and fight um responses are quite activated. So content is about really bringing it as content at ease, enlightenment, like wow, insightful. That is actually what healing, that's got much more greater healing effects than that. So when Josie feels like, because I've tried, I've said that's why I'm here, I'm doing my own thing, because a lot of people have approached me, just want me to not do this. They want me to do something that doesn't speak to my values and my principles as a healer, and not what my brand also stands for. Togoza Coco. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left. Togoza Coco, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How do you separate yourself from your family members that's acceptable spiritually? And ooh, you see, it goes, beloved tribe members, like your comments disappear. It's gone. It's really gone. Togoza Coco, what does okay, see, people's comments are like, there's just so much going on, guys. Like, I'm trying to catch a comment, then there's three comments that come up and it hides it. Togoza Koko, can the ancestors make someone tell the truth if they have previously lied about an incident? Your ancestors don't impose. That's why people can get away with so much even while they're initiating. And we ask ourselves, why didn't the ancestors come and tell us? They don't impose, they come tell the truth because there is a part of you that is wishing and hoping and wanting to speak the truth. It just doesn't have the courage. Then the ancestors will then channel the truth, but they don't force the truth to come out. That's one thing I've learned as a Gobela over the past 6 years. Like, why, Mara? Why Matlosin? Lomdanu yakanga, Moshub Kosbabu, Moshub Nyanga Babu. How come they're not speaking the truth? You need to consent. So even them coming through, it's an agreement. They don't just come and take over your body just because they feel like it. That's a distorted belief system. The thing that we feel like we're held at hostage by our ancestors, and if we don't do this, they're going to do that. No, 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 no. They don't tamper with that. Remember, I said that the minute an ancestor, a person, tampers with the temple of God, they are now entering into dark work. Not even our ancestors, they clearly understand their mandate. They cannot temper and impose and go against our free will. So when we are struggling because we're saying no to our gifts, is not because our ancestors are punishing us. It's because we are saying no to our truest forms of self. We are saying no to a gift that's supposed to be healing you, healing your family, healing those that it's meant to heal. So you are actually a car that is supposed to be functional, and it's sitting there and really depleting. So that's why you are struggling, not because ancestors are punishing you. Make sense? Okay. Chantel Mudisani, how do you separate yourself from your family members that's acceptable spiritually? And you see, it goes like the comment goes. Okay, let me take loco. Chogoza Koko, I've asked Uti, how do we help someone who has ubutongo obungapeni? Wow, I wouldn't know unless if I find out what is the cause of that, because there are many various causes. I know that some of it might be connected to the gift. My dad had that. My dad had that. Every time he would sit down before he would to us, he would sleep. It wouldn't matter where we were, and it was embarrassing for my mom. My mom would get so upset, like, why? This is people's houses. You just pass out and he snores. Like we are just at we're visiting someone, or we just randomly just going to somebody else's place, or we're sitting down somewhere, he would just go. But we would need to be clear if that is the case or what else might be happening with them, because there might be just some medical causes to that. But I know that spiritually also people who have gifts struggle with that. Okay, Lorna is saying, yeah, we see these comments go so fast. Coco, can one physically be sick because of neglecting their gift, losing weight, and always bloated? Kabuhlungu, yes. Lorna, go look at my teaching. It's called Signs That Tell That You Might Be Possibly Gifted to Be a Healer, Dreams That Are Indicative That You Might Be a Healer. So, yeah, it's there. And look at it. It's on YouTube. Make time, tribe members, especially Facebook and new YouTube subscribers, to go through the rest of the channel. There's a lot of content, there's a lot of teachings that have been covered, especially about the gifts, the calling, but also when there is this fight between the maternal and paternal side, when you don't know your surname. There is a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. There's probably about 100 plus videos on this channel. Remember to subscribe, share with your friends, share with your family, come back, revisit, listen. Yeah, and make sure that you hear me again speaking. I really appreciate you, really love you. Thank you so much for your time. It is just like literally a few minutes before midnight. Some of you and some of us gotta go pray. Thank you very much. We will check in to next week again. Hopefully, if we don't have load shedding, it'll be 9 p.m. But bear with me, it might be, yeah, 176. Z is a follower. Yes, 106. And there's music. There's Mkulum Kasha's music there, and other gogo singing. Just for music is a good way for us to soothe and regulate our nervous system. So yeah, if we don't have load shedding next week at 9 p.m. If we do, my times would vary. So don't be, be patient with me. But the best way you can not miss out on this is to make sure you subscribe, put on the notification button. Every time I go live, you'll go a ding. Coco Dinao is live. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please note, this is from my own experience, my own understanding. Take what works for you and let the rest go, because as I am as well, I have my own limitations. But my intentions are always intended on bringing enlightenment and sharing the truth that will set us free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Chozani.